In the dusty haze of a forgotten frontier town called Redemption Ridge, where the sun scorched the earth like an unforgiving judge, a lone cowboy rode in under the cover of twilight. His hat was pulled low over eyes that had seen too much death, and his coat whispered secrets of battles long past. But it wasn't the stranger's arrival that sent a chill through the air. It was the scream that pierced the night just as he dismounted. A young widow, clutching her infant son, was being dragged into the shadows by 3 snarling bandits, their laughter echoing like thunder before a storm. The cowboy's hand twitched toward his holster, and in that split second, the world held its breath. Little did those outlaws know, they weren't facing just any drifter. They were staring down the barrel of fate itself. The town of Redemption Ridge had once been a beacon of hope for weary travelers seeking a fresh start after the Civil War. Nestled between jagged mountains and endless plains, it boasted a single saloon, a weathered church, and a handful of homesteads where families scraped by on dreams and determination. But in recent months, a gang of bandits led by the notorious Silas Blackthorne had turned it into a graveyard of broken spirits. Silas, a man with a scar twisting his face like a permanent sneer, had lost his own family to a raid years ago, and now inflicted that pain on others, robbing stagecoaches, terrorizing farmers, and leaving trails of widows and orphans in his wake. The townsfolk whispered about him in hushed tones, too afraid to fight back. Among them was Elias Thorne, the sheriff, a once brave man now crippled by doubt after watching his deputy gunned down in broad daylight. Elias had a daughter, Lily, a spirited 18-year-old with fire in her eyes and a heart full of unyielding optimism, who helped run the local mercantile and dreamed of a day when peace would return. The stranger, known only as Jack Harlan, wasn't looking for trouble when he arrived. He was a man haunted by ghosts, his wife and daughter, taken from him in a senseless ambush 5 years prior by men not unlike Silas. Jack had been a simple rancher then, but loss had forged him into something sharper, deadlier. He wandered the West as a gunslinger, not for glory or gold, but for the hollow satisfaction of justice. His ruthlessness was born of grief. Every bullet he fired was a scream from his shattered soul, yet beneath the steel exterior lay a flicker of the man he used to be, one who believed in second chances, in the quiet beauty of a sunrise over open land. As he tied his horse outside the saloon that fateful evening, he overheard the bandits' crude taunts toward the widow, Sarah, whose husband had been killed just weeks before in one of Silas's raids. Sarah's baby wailed in terror, and something in Jack snapped. He stepped forward, his voice low and steady. "Let her go, boys. This ain't your night." The bandits turned, sizing him up with mocking grins. The leader of the trio, a burly thug named Zeke, spat tobacco juice at Jack's boots. "Look here, stranger. Is this town's ours?" "Silas says so. You best ride on before you end up fertilizing the dirt." But Jack didn't flinch. His eyes, cold as a winter river, met theirs. And in that gaze, the bandits sensed something primal, a predator disguised as prey. They drew their guns, thinking 3 against 1 was easy math. The first shot rang out, splintering the saloon door behind Jack as he dove aside, his own revolver flashing like lightning. In a blur of motion, he dropped Zeke with a precise shot to the knee, then winged the second bandit in the shoulder. The third fled into the night, yelling for reinforcements. Sarah collapsed in tears, clutching her child as Jack helped her to her feet. "Why'd you do that?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Jack's reply was simple: "Because no one should lose what I lost." Word spread like wildfire through Redemption Ridge. By morning, the townsfolk gathered in the square, murmuring about the stranger who had stood up to Silas's men. Elias, the sheriff, approached Jack warily in the mercantile, where Lily was bandaging a minor graze on his arm from the skirmish. "You got guts," Mr. Elias said, his badge glinting dully. But Silas won't let this slide. He's got a dozen men, all meaner than rattlesnakes." Jack met the sheriff's eyes, seeing the fear mirrored in them, the same fear that had paralyzed him after his family's death. "Fear's what keeps him strong," Jack replied. "But together, we can break it." Lily, overhearing, felt a spark of hope ignite in her chest. She had watched her father shrink under the bandit's shadow, and now this enigmatic cowboy offered a glimmer of change. Over the next few days, an unlikely bond formed. Jack shared stories of his past around flickering campfires, his voice cracking as he spoke of his daughter's laughter and his wife's gentle touch. It humanized him, turning the ruthless gunslinger into a man of profound sorrow, relatable in his vulnerability. But challenges mounted swiftly. Silas, enraged by the humiliation, sent scouts to probe the town's defenses. One night, they ambushed a farmer's homestead on the outskirts, burning barns and stealing livestock to send a message. Jack rode out with Elias and a handful of volunteers, including Lily, who insisted on coming despite her father's protests. In the chaos of the raid, Lily was cornered by two bandits, her rifle jammed. Jack arrived just in time, his shots precise and unforgiving, but not before one outlaw grazed her arm. As he bandaged her wound under the stars, tears welled in her eyes. "I thought I was brave," she admitted. "But I'm scared, Jack. Scared we'll all end up like my ma gone too soon." Jack paused, his own pain resurfacing. "Bravery ain't the absence of fear, girl. It's facing it head-on for those you love." That moment deepened their connection. Lily saw in Jack a father figure, a mentor who understood loss intimately. Elias, witnessing this, found his own resolve stirring. For the first time in years, he felt the weight of his badge as a call to action, not a burden. As tensions escalated, Jack trained the townsfolk in basic defense, how to aim true, how to use the terrain to their advantage. But emotional fractures emerged. One volunteer, a widower named Tom, accused Jack of bringing more danger upon them. "You're just a killer looking for a fight," Tom shouted during a heated town meeting. Jack didn't deny it. Instead, he revealed a locket from around his neck, showing faded photographs of his family. "I was like you, once peaceful, content. But evil took that from me. I became ruthless to survive, but I fight now so others don't have to." His confession silenced the room, forging empathy. Tom, who had lost his wife to illness amid the bandits' siege, extended a hand in solidarity. These relatable struggles, grief, doubt, redemption, wove the community tighter, turning strangers into allies. The climax brewed under a blood-red sunset 2 weeks after Jack's arrival. Silas and his full gang rode into town, dust clouds billowing like omens. They demanded Jack's head, firing warning shots into the air. The townsfolk, hidden in strategic positions Jack had planned, held their breath. Elias stood beside Jack in the square, Lily at the church steeple with a rifle. "This ends today," Silas snarled, dismounting. Jack stepped forward, his coat flapping in the wind. "It does, but not the way you think." The shootout erupted in a symphony of chaos, bullets whizzing. Men falling, screams piercing the air. Jack moved like a shadow, his gunslinging skills unmatched, dropping bandits with ruthless efficiency. Yet amid the violence, emotions surged. Elias took a bullet shielding a child, crying out for Lily. Jack, seeing this, fought with renewed fury, his heart pounding not just for vengeance, but for the family he saw forming around him. In the end, Silas lay wounded at Jack's feet, begging for mercy. "Why fight so hard?" Silas gasped, blood staining his lips. Jack knelt, his voice steady, but laced with sorrow. "Because every life you took was someone's world. Mine included." He didn't kill Silas instead. He let the law take him, a nod to the man he once was. Elias survived, his wound a badge of honor, and the town erupted in cheers as the remaining bandits fled or surrendered. As Jack prepared to ride out days later, healed but forever changed, Lily approached him with tears in her eyes. "You gave us hope, Jack. Don't leave." He smiled faintly, placing his locket in her hand. "Hope ain't something I give, it's what you build. Remember, even the darkest soul can find light if they choose to fight for it." Riding into the horizon, Jack left behind a town reborn, its people inspired to stand tall against adversity. In the face of ruthless evil, they had discovered that true strength lies not in vengeance, but in the courage to protect what matters most, turning pain into purpose and forging unbreakable bonds from the ashes of despair.